Okay, so it's so good to meet you. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to do this.
I'm so excited to have you. Tell me a little bit about you. All I know about you is that you work in social media at Bon Appetit, right?
Yes, my name is Emily Schultz.
Uh-huh.
I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm Italian and Jewish, which I feel like are very big parts of my life and personality.
Yeah.
I live in Brooklyn normally, but I'm in Portland, Maine, and I've been for like 3.5 months.
Have you always worked in food?
Well, yes, definitely. My dad went to culinary school and was a chef until I was born, and then he works in food sales, which is like he basically sells food to like stadiums and airports and like things like that. But yeah, he went to cooking school, so he was like I feel like a lot of people who are in food now have the story of like bringing an embarrassing thing to lunch. And I feel like for me, I had like bruschetta and like I never had Lunchables or anything like that. So I always grew up with like good food around. And then, yeah, being Italian and Jewish, like there was every holiday was centered around food, and everything that I did with my family revolved around food. Yeah, then I went to school for photography. And when I was there, I got really into food photography, and doing that, I had to like style my own, like do food styling myself, because that obviously wasn't like a thing in school. So I learned how to cook.
So you went to school for photography. You've always loved food. It's always been part of your life. I wonder how that has affected your body image and what you think about your body. Have been having these conversations to kind of feel like less alone, because I've always grown up in this overweight body, and a lot of my friends have not had the experiences that I've had. And it sounds like there's so many similarities in experiences of fat bodies. And I just want to like share those stories with the world, because we have been hidden for decades, and it's like we need to share this, otherwise it's never going to get better.
Yeah, 1000%. Like I feel like my first experience of being like, oh, I'm not skinny is I was in 8th grade, and some kids were bullying my friend, and I like stood up to them, and they said I was a meatball and I was like, what, because I'm Italian? Like, cool insult. And they were like, no, because you're short and fat. So I did the Special K diet, which
I've done that.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who is fat, not skinny, I guess, is like, oh yeah, I did that in 9th grade. I think I did that like 3 times between 8th grade and 10th grade. Yeah, I feel like for me, it was always these like periods of like letting myself be who I want to be, and then either like looking in the mirror, or I think a big thing for me has always been not people directly like insulting me, because I think I have thick skin and can handle that, but it's more like if you're in a group of like skinnier people than you are, and they start talking about their diets or like counting calories or whatever, that's what always like triggers me. I really actually think that like working in food is the thing that like one of the things that has made me really like feel comfortable about myself and feel like I have like accepted myself, which I think is not necessarily what people would expect.
Right. Well, first of all, I think you're absolutely right, where you know, I am able to live my life when I'm in my home alone, and where the awareness of my body really comes in is when I hear other people talking poorly about their bodies. And that is so, it's like, what is the word? It's like, it's so unnecessary. Like there's no reason for them to be talking so poorly about their bodies when they don't face the struggles that actual like fat bodies have to face every day. So I fully agree. Like that really hurts me when I hear my friends saying, I look fat today. Oh, I need to lose 10 pounds before I go on vacation. Oh my God, look at my look at my stomach in these jeans, in this shirt. Like that to me is so triggering, because it's like, girl, you don't know. You
Yeah.
do not know.
And then I'm like, well, what do I look like in these jeans? And then I'm
Right.
like, wait, I don't even care. Like, why am I like thinking about this right now?
Right. And it's so funny because all these conversations that I'm having, there's like a lot of repeated themes, right? Of like, I don't want to spend that time now having to think about my own self. Like it's just wasted time at giving that energy to the way that I look when I'm working so hard to not think about it.
Yeah, totally.
When did you realize that like you did not look like everybody else?
Probably, yeah, around like 7th or 8th grade when like, you know, puberty's happening. It's like your body shape is changing and you're more like conscious about, well, I'm heterosexual, so I was more conscious about like, are boys looking at me and stuff
Right.
like that. And I feel like in middle school, it was like, I never had that like middle school boyfriend. So I was like, oh, it must be because like my thighs are bigger and I have like more of a belly and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a shame because my whole life exactly the same. Like I've been conditioned to believe that no one will ever love me because of my body. And
Yeah.
that is so painful. And it's a lot of work to undo. And I still have those problems and I'm still having to work at not believing that so that I can push my life forward. So you said you had a boyfriend. Like, what was that like for you?
I definitely like 4,000% agree with you. You know, a lot of my friends who would like hook up with people randomly and have like one night stands, like guys would hit on me at the bar just as much as they would hit on them. But I just had this like, and I still do, had this like crazy like thing in my head that it's like, no, they're not like actually into me. They're only into me because they're drunk. So my boyfriend and I met on Instagram. He DM'd me. And I feel like that helped because I could kind of like lead with my personality first, but also he like saw pictures of me and was like, I like you. um, and yeah, I was also like thinking about something like before, like sort of in prep for this about like intentional compliments. Like when people are really specific about like, oh, you look amazing like in those jeans versus just like, you look good today. Cause like I heard someone last week be like, you look so good, you look so skinny, like in the same sentence, not to me, just to someone else. And I'm just like, why is like looking good, looking skinny? Like that, no.
Right.
Like,
Synonymous, right? Like good equals skinny.
yeah. And I think I was like thinking about that and thinking about like how I could be more intentional about that stuff with my friends. Cause I think a lot of the people that I've gravitated to in the last couple of years have been people that not necessarily are even like fat or are like, oh my God, you're so like beautiful and amazing and fat. It's just people that don't talk about like their body image necessarily, or who like create a space where everyone can talk about it comfortably. I think a lot of like skinny people are afraid to like have us talk about something or be like, can you not talk about that in front of me? And it's like, I feel uncomfortable saying that in front of skinny people. So I think just like making friends that like hold that space for you.
You feel uncomfortable talking about your relationship with your body in front of thin people?
Yeah. Not all thin people, but I think thin people who talk badly about their own body in front of me, I'm just like, what do I say about my body then? And like, what do you say about my body, like behind closed doors? And you might not say anything, but like you talking bad about your like thin body doesn't make me want to say anything. And I often just like go on Instagram during that time or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think in the last couple of years, I found myself doing that too, where it's just like, you know, a friend will talk poorly about themselves or even like on Instagram, right? Like, look how hot this person is, or send me a photo, right? And I have done so much work to like get that out of my life that I can't engage, because if
Yeah.
I engage, it's a spiral.
I've sort of like unfiltered all the like high school and college people out of my Instagram that are like, calories don't count on vacation. I'm like, why? That's not even like funny. It's not like even a clever caption. Like, let me know if you want some like caption help. I do it for a living.
Right. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah.
Going back to Instagram, that sort of like perpetuating those beliefs and stuff like that is like who you follow or who you engage with. And if you only follow, I mean, if you're like a person to follow influencers, if like you only follow skinny influencers or something like that, then you're not gonna see and appreciate fat people being comfortable with themselves. And I think that Instagram is something that has helped me, and it's like, oh my God, like that person looks confident and also like cute in the clothes that they're wearing, and like that's how a shirt would look on me, or that's how like pants would look on me. So like if they're doing it, like I can do it too. And I think that like, again, like a lot of skinny people are uncomfortable with fat people being confident, so they don't follow that, they don't like see that on their feeds, they don't, you know, engage with that in their lives, and it's hard, it's not going to happen if you're not like willing to make it happen.
A big part of why I'm doing this is as a healing for myself and to find community in this space. And it's just such a shame that like this has been like the nebulous of my life, even if I've never talked about it, right? Like it is what's behind the curtain of every single thing that I do. And are there any specific memories that you have of like dieting and the hardship that you felt, or the like really, really like traumatic, horrific moments that thin people just will never have?
Yeah, I mean, like anytime wearing a bathing suit from ages probably 8th grade to 22. I think like at parties in college, I went to college and bandeau skirts were very in, and like I had like a pouch in it, and you know, looking back on it, I was like, my ass probably looked fucking great in it because I have a big butt. Like I should have worn them more, but I was like way too scared. I think like what you just said about it was like the biggest like thing of your life, but you didn't even like realize it. Like I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And because of that, like, how do you feel like you have been affected by it?
I definitely think that my like humor, and I'm very loud, and I think my sisters are too, and so are my parents, because like they've all had to deal with it too. I think that like, you know, being loud and like being able to like take a joke and like laugh one off and stuff like that is a defense mechanism, obviously. I was very confrontational and bitchy in like middle school and high school. And I think that was like to sort of like keep people afraid of me so they wouldn't say anything mean about me. In college, sorry, I was very like non-affectionate, and I think that like that would have shown vulnerability, and I like was not ready to be vulnerable with myself or anyone. So yeah.
For you, what would make you feel better in this space? And what is it that's going to, look, where's the solve?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think that there's like more in mainstream media. And yeah, I feel like creating that like support system of people, whether that is on the internet, I think just like having personal conversations with people too is like so much more meaningful, even if it is on like Instagram DM. Just yeah, like finding those people. And again, like I think that like I'm in a different place than I was, you know, 10 years ago, so maybe I'm not like seeing the fad diets everywhere, but it feels like to me that like that like diet culture of like fad diets and Atkins and shit like that is like not as existent right now.
See, I think that's being like media literate is what I think that is like we have had to work so hard at
Yeah.
seeing all of those really negative messages and having to like avoid them. So now we can see it from a mile away. You said that you feel like you're very different now than you were when you were much younger. How do you feel like you've changed in regards to your body image?
My sister is like a very big portion of my like healing process, and just being able to call her when I'm like feeling insecure or something like that has really helped me.
Yeah. Has that been like a dialogue in your family for ever, like between you and your sister?
Definitely. Yeah. She like, I mean, like I said before, like we've all struggled with it. And I think that I think in college she had like a group of friends that was super supportive, and I'm sure was like going through similar things. So I think she was able to come out on the other side a lot earlier than the rest of us. And so, yeah, I think that like,
That's so important. I'm happy to hear that because it's like I said before, it's so painful. It is so painful.
having those like one or two people, which are my sisters for me, to like check in with them and be like, hey, like I was feeling this way today. Like, have you ever felt this way? Or like, what do you do in this situation? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like I felt that like last week. I think like sort of having someone to validate your feelings helps a lot.
Definitely. And that's why I've never had that. So I've felt so alone in this struggle my whole life. And that's why I started to do this, because I know that, well, I guess I didn't know that I was so not alone until I started doing this.
And yeah, it's like you said, it's not like something you can take a vacation from. It's like
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah, I think this is great.
Thanks. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with me? Fine. That's
My favorite Special K was the chocolate one, if that tells you anything about how much
That's hilarious.
you want to do the Special K diet.
Okay, mine was the strawberry. I love the strawberries.
Dried strawberries.
Right.
I did like just like nibbling on them like by themselves, like outside of the milk.
Like the dehydrated strawberries. Oh,
Yeah.
that's disgusting. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I mean, thank you so much for being so
Thank
open
you.
with me and for talking about this, because it's important. And I hope that like this helped you a little bit more. It helped me a little bit more. And just like the more we do this and the more that we're able to like be open and talk about this real thing that we're all living through, like it will change. I hope. I have to believe that it will.
I believe so too.
So
And let's have
you.
a dinner party when we can do things in New York.
Oh, I'm there. You have no idea. I'm so excited. Yeah, well, let's do that. And that's it.
Me.
Bye. Bye.